Welcome back to the Faceoff. You're listening to KXSC 1560 AM radio. Right now, KXSC is undergoing their fundraiser. We have a goal of $15,000. There are $15,000. We have 19 days left in the fundraiser. We have raised $8,250 so far. To find out more information about the fundraiser, log on to kxsc.org/fundraiser for that. And now we will resume normal programming. Monday night was not a very good night for the Colorado Avalanche. They lost to the Calgary Flames 3-1 that game at home, and they had a 1-0 second period lead, but they couldn't hold it. The defense completely let Jean-Sebastian Giguere down just the entire game, especially on the second goal and on Alex Tanguay's shorthanded goal in the third period that made the game 3-1. The game wasn't the biggest story, however. What was said in the locker room to the media, however, was. Giguere is a 15-year veteran of the NHL, and he appeared to have reached his breaking point in these interviews. Now, he's won a Stanley Cup and a Conn Smythe Trophy. He won the Stanley Cup in 2007 with the Anaheim Ducks, and the Conn Smythe Trophy in 2003 with the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, as they were called in 2003. Not too many players have the distinction of getting the Conn Smythe Trophy, even though your team lost in the Stanley Cup Finals. So that is a pretty notable achievement for Giguere. And with those awards, he's kind of got a lot of room to talk and say whatever is on his mind. First, he said, as long as we don't, this is in the locker room, as long as we don't understand that we have to play better in our zone, we'll never win any games. We have to do a better job in our zone. We have to do a better job in our own zone, pardon me. That's where it starts. We have to learn this at some point. So, yeah, those are pretty honest comments, and those were generally enough to to cause anybody to write a story saying, oh, Jean-Sebastian Giguere calls out his team saying they're not playing well enough in their own zone, so perhaps is anything going to come of this? Well, Giguere wasn't quite done, and he kept going. And he continued, the allowing of the first goal is one part of it, problems. But I think it comes down to us not playing well defensively. We spend too much time in our own zone, and that's hard. That's where it's hard. We know we can score some goals. We have some offensive tools, but when you spend part of the second period in your zone and give up too many scoring chances, you're not going to win games like that. And he continued afterwards, we talk about it every day. At some point, we have to understand. There's no more excuses. It's not about being young. It's not about we have to put our head into the game. Those are much stronger comments here by Giguere than he started with in that first gigantic quote. But you could sort of sense he was still holding back just a little bit, and he wasn't saying exactly what he wanted to say. But then he kept going, and he decided to be brutally honest about what was really on his mind. And this is a bombshell of a quote right here. Some guys are more worried about their Vegas trip at the end of the season than playing the games, than playing every minute of the games. Quite frankly, I don't care about your Vegas trip right now. You know, that reveals that there is definitely a lack of focus in the locker room for the Avalanche, and Giguere is obviously very tired of it in that quote. But even then, he didn't stop there. He kept going after that. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to be here right now. It's not even funny. And all of these quotes were transcribed by the Denver Post's Adrian Dater. And then Adrian Dater then asked Giguere if this was stemming from a lack of preparation, to which Giguere replied, I don't know what it is. I've been around for 15 years in this league, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why we seem like we don't care at points. I don't know. I don't know. We seem like, some guys are fighting to show that they belong in the NHL. Some guys are fighting for contracts. And it's just embarrassing the way, the energy we have in the room and the way we approach practices and the way we approach this game. It's not how you're going to win any games in this league. I mean, this is a team, he's talking about Calgary, that we can beat if we set our minds to it And every day is the same story. I don't know what to say. I am beyond words right now. So, right there, you can clearly tell that Giguere is completely angry with how the team is going into each game, and he is just absolutely dumbfounded by it too. He doesn't have anything. He has no idea how to solve it. Nothing seems to change for the Avs, and the locker room is just not very good right now. It's just not a good environment right now for the Avs. And then Adrian Dater then asked Giguere that, yeah, the locker room seemed to be in pretty good spirits when they beat the Chicago Blackhawks in their 24-game point streak, but Giguere cut him off and said, but that was just one game. It's easy to get going when you play a team like that. When you play a team like that, that is going to embarrass you if you don't play well. You've got to play like this against every team in this league. There's not one easy game in this league, so you've got to play hard and you've got to play well every night. You've got to find a way to get yourself motivated and focused. It has nothing to do with who you're playing. It's about how you prepare yourself and how you approach the game. It's not about which team you're playing. Yeah, everybody's going to get motivated when you play the Hawks. I mean, the building is full, and that's easy to do. But can you get yourself going when you play the Calgary Flames? Can you do that right now? And obviously, we're too mature to do that. Okay, apparently there is a clear locker room cancer for the Colorado Avalanche. As Giguere is describing, they're not preparing well enough for their games. They're in the bottom of the standings in the Western Conference. And if that trend continues, they're probably going to get the number one, or they're probably going to get a 25% chance of getting the number one overall pick in this year's draft. Being the worst team in the league doesn't necessarily guarantee that you will get the number one overall pick. Case in point, the Columbus Blue Jackets last year. But I digress. I don't really have a problem with the comments that Giguere made. He didn't call anybody out. He didn't single anybody out in that interview. Now, would it be a little bit more productive for Giguere to talk about this in the locker room? We don't know that, because maybe they have discussed all of these things that have happened in the locker room, but nothing is getting through. As Giguere says, nothing is changing. The same story is going on, even though they're one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. Nothing has changed for them, and maybe this is what gets the Colorado Avalanche to start playing the right way. But if Giguere's talking to the media does not get the Colorado Avalanche to wake up, I don't know what will. Coming up after the break, somebody forgot to tell the Dallas Stars that their season was over.